Okay, good morning. Welcome to my morning forecast on the 14th of July. As always, we'll look at key areas of market structure and high probability areas of interest. So let's get straight into it on the euro dollar on the daily. We can see that the daily swing structure is bullish and the internal structure is bullish. We have mitigated this weekly supply, and since we've mitigated this weekly supply, we are starting to see this pullback. Obviously, we don't have a change of character because of the way this internal leg was formed, each candle breaking the previous candle's high, but we can still have a pullback with this internal structure. We can see that we've broken this internal structure and continued down. If we look on the 4 hour, we can see that the swing structure is bullish. Swing structure is bullish and the internal structure is now bearish. Before we switched bearish, the small internal structure was bearish for quite a while, holding some bearish order flow. And now we've had an internal break of structure, we can expect an internal pullback. So we do have this area of demand which we could pull into, and that could be the catalyst for internal pullback before continuing lower. So we do have this area of demand which is in the discount of this 4 hour swing leg. So when we reach here, it's also a sweep zone. When we reach into here and we mitigate this zone, that could be enough to go and break new highs, or that could just be enough to fuel the 4 hour internal pullback, and then we can continue lower and mitigate the demands at the extreme. We'll be aware of both scenarios, but we can trade this leg into the 4 hour demand. So we can be looking for shorts at the moment, even if we've passed this internal break of structure. If we look on the 1 hour, we can see that the 1 hour has been bearish for quite some time. Swing structure is bearish, and the internal structure is just range bound really. It's just moving sideways. So we need to see how we react in here. We know that after we've had this break of structure, we can expect a pullback. So if we are going to have a pullback, we do have this area of supply that we can use, and that could be used to push us lower into this 4 hour supply, and then we'll see what happens from there. If we do continue to break these lows from here, then we do have this hourly supply, which will become valid once we break these lows. So if we do break these lows, then we could pop into this supply and then continue to go lower. Okay, if we look on the pound dollar, we can see that on the daily, the swing structure is bullish and the small internal structure has been bearish. We swept above this weekly high, and then that caused us to have this internal pullback. We are now in this daily sweep zone, so this demand can be used to push us higher. If we look on the 4 hour, we can see that we do have this extreme POI at the bottom of this 4 hour swing leg. So wouldn't be too surprised for it to keep pushing lower and mitigate this zone. As for the swing structure, we can see that the swing structure is bullish and the internal structure is bearish. We all moved down quite a bit of momentum, so I think it is still valid to look for shorts following this bearish order flow. So we have this zone here that we can look to trade from. And if we look on the 1 hour, we can see that the swing structure is clearly bearish and the internal structure is also bearish. So we've got strong bearish order flow, and we can look to follow that as we continue to mitigate this daily demand zone and looking to get into this 4 hour demand zone. Once we mitigate this 4 hour demand zone, definitely don't want to be looking for any shorts. But we could follow the bearish order flow down into it. And then once we do mitigate the 4 hour demand zone, then going to be looking for longs.